Oh, there we are.
Right.
We are. We're all ready
Good
to go. We're just having a good old chat about Pontypridd there, weren't we?
Yes, and Portimao,
Yeah.
which are twinned, I believe.
What happened to all those twinnings? You know, like you used to see them everywhere. We are twinned with.
Well, I live in Carmarthen, and we are still twinned with Lesneven, which is in Brittany.
Apparently, Prestatyn's linked with Saint-Tropez.
I think the residents of Prestatyn are on a winner there. I don't know if the visitors from Saint-Tropez are going to be quite as enamoured with that. Sorry for my Prestatyn peeps.
My dad was born in Prestatyn.
So I got some pals from Prestatyn, and it's nice. It's just not as nice as Saint-Tropez.
Yeah, well, there you go. Although I have been down that part of the world only once, mind. And I wouldn't go back.
Prestatyn or Saint-Tropez?
Both. But I was talking about Saint-Tropez, and I wouldn't go back to Saint-Tropez. I thought it was rubbish.
Did you really?
I thought the South. Yeah, it was just all like pretentious and nonsense. Anyway,
I'm into all of that.
This is DigiTech. That's what we're here for. So
yes,
Digi and Techie.
Speaking of pretentious nonsense, that's
right. What are we doing today, Captain?
Well, we are responding to the requests from last week. So we had some comments up last week saying we want to look at audio in Animate and different ways of doing it.
Yeah.
So I've been doing some research into that. Evening, how are you? You all right?
Hey.
Yeah, I've been doing some research into that and messing around with Adobe Audition.
Mm-hmm.
And I've got to say, it's great. So we're going to look at using Adobe Audition to sort out sound for our animations as an alternative to what we looked at before.
So let's go through the first method. The first method was...
Yeah, well, if you pop over to my screen now, Dom.
Yeah, which one? You got two, mister?
I've only got the one, I think, shared with you.
The one that works.
Yeah, I think, there we go. So last time, if you remember, we were creating our animation in Animate, and what we were...
look at this. Amazing.
He's only up the production value, you know.
I feel like I need to put some Tony Hart music on. Yeah.
Morph's gonna jump on. Oh no, don't he? Yeah. So what we were doing was we had our animation in Animate, and then we were then exporting that out of Animate as an MP4.
Give me an arrow. Come on.
Hang on. And then we were bringing that into Rush. Okay.
You gotta get some arrows on it, otherwise I'm just taking your screen off. Oh yeah. So right MP4 on the arrow. This is great. This is great television, this.
I'm enjoying it, I tell you. So we were exporting the animation as a MP4, as a movie file from Animate into Rush.
Mm-hmm.
And then in Rush, we were then, so inside Rush, in the black box here, we were then adding all our, adding our voiceover, adding our sound effects, adding our music.
It's great when you're sketching because we can see the ball patch on your head.
I'm got a ball. What?
Carry on.
Right on the crown there, is it? All right, okay. Yes, it's my tonsure, that is. It's not the ball patch. And then obviously any editing that needed to be done to all of those. So that's fine. Okay, so that's in Rush. Okay. So, and then this is where I think I lost the room a bit. We then had to export. From Rush as an MP4. Okay.
Yeah.
But then we had to open that up in Media Encoder.
Yeah. And strip out the MP3.
Yeah. So we have to.
You need a red box now.
Yeah.
If you're gonna keep consistency, of course.
Well, I am.
Right. Okay.
Okay, so then we export as MP4 from Rush into Media Encoder.
Gotcha.
And then in Media Encoder, we basically applied the audio only
Yeah.
setting.
Yeah.
Well, that G was a bit dodgy. So, oh, sorry.
Oh, the consistency is just so low.
Okay. And then, so we were doing that. And then we were exporting that as a WAV file.
WAV, yeah, of course. I'm putting it to Animate.
Back into Animate.
Do leave some comments for us. Tell us if you like this new segment where we watch Meredith draw. Do you like it? Because if you do, we'll keep it in. But otherwise, you know,
I think it's a non-negotiable. I think it's a non-negotiable for me, to be honest. I love this.
I mean, I've enjoyed it. I've enjoyed it. Not a lot, but I've enjoyed it.
So we got like step 1, step 2, step 3, step 4.
Is the next one going to be? Oh, I thought you were going to put 5 in there.
No. Okay. So there it is. That was our kind of method 1 round tripping. Okay.
That was our lead teacher gem of advice. Yeah, he's connected to an iPad. You're absolutely right. Someone was making a comment there. Actually, Meredith, sorry, I don't want to be rude. How do you say the first name here?
Ichtid.
Ichtid. Okay.
Ichtid. Yeah, Ichtid. Yeah.
Yeah. So he's connected to an iPad on. He's
I've got. If you're going to see behind the curtain, I've got my iPad connected to the computer.
Anthony says you've not got anything on Sony Art. I think that means Sony Art's better. I'm not sure.
Thank you. Well,
so what's this new method you're proposing now then?
Let me just do some shading. Oh God,
you're kidding me. You're killing me here. Right.
Yeah.
Right, let's get your notes up. What's your new method?
So
that was the one you prepared earlier.
I haven't prepared it. So in this new method, basically it's simpler in terms of workflow, which is a good thing because that looks pretty complicated now that we've got it written out. But yeah, okay. So what we're gonna do is don't laugh at me.
Big ask here. You're in a relegation battle here, and you need 9 points from 3 games.
Okay, here's what we're gonna do. Rather than all of that rubbish, we're gonna jump straight into Adobe Audition. Okay. Don't laugh at me all the time. In Adobe Audition, we are going to basically construct everything that we've just spoken about over here. So,
but you've got to.
We're gonna do our voiceover. We're gonna do our sound effects. We're gonna do our music. Music. It's time.
Is it hot where you are?
Why? Is my crown sweating or what? What? Why?
No. You carry on. Carry on. Right, so you can put voiceover, sound effects, music.
So we do all of that. We do all of this stuff in Audition.
I suppose it's syncing, though, wasn't it? We are syncing. You know what? That's the thing that people will be wondering. How do you sync it up? Because the way Rush was good was because you could actually sync it to the video really easily.
Yeah.
So that's what we need to know here.
Yeah. So we're going to do all that stuff in Audition. Okay. And then we're going to export it from Audition as a WAV or as an MP3. Or Animate quite likes MP3 files as well. So and it'll keep the file sizes smaller because shout out to everyone who's been uploading their coursework to because there's a file size limit on the coursework, Dom. So that was just an extra little smack in the chops when everyone was handing their coursework in.
Did people find that was causing issues?
Well, yeah, because
that's the last thing that should be causing issues.
Because it was 300 meg, which isn't very generous on well, in fact, Unit 3, anyway, let's not go into that. Unit 3 was more of a challenge than, these file sizes for the animation and the website aren't that massive really, but it's the Unit 3, the video stuff that was most challenging.
Right.
Okay. So we're going to get our stuff sorted in Audition and we're going to export as a MP3 or a WAV, but MP3, keep file size small, quality will be fine. Straight into Animate. But as you have quite rightly asked, Dom,
wisely pointed out.
Yeah, as you've sagely asked, what about syncing?
Yeah.
Now, the answer to that is that we're going to fudge it. So,
right. Okay.
And I'm not surprising you at all there, am I?
No, not really.
I am a cowboy. I am a cowboy. So, so we're going to fudge it. Okay. What you're going to have to do, if you can do this, you could export your video from Animate and bring it into Audition, and then but really you're nearly back at method 1 then.
Yeah.
And one of the downsides of using Audition rather than Rush to sort out your audio is that Rush has got a load of built-in sound effects and music in it, whereas Audition doesn't, because it's kind of a pro app. It doesn't have those sound effects libraries.
I mean, the people on here now, I know we got Ichted and Anthony as well. Like, what would you be up for there? I know people have asked about Audition, but what would you guys be up for? Well, 3 people on there, so if you can give us 3 ideas.
Looking at it like this and what we've just spoken about, it makes it sound as if Audition isn't going to be a good way to go ahead. But now that I've been testing it out today, I actually think it is going to be fun, and we're gonna see that now. It just means that you've got to plan out a bit better before you start. Anyway, as we've discussed, feels like years ago, but we've been making storyboards anyway. If you remember, we were using Express to make our storyboards. So we've done storyboards, so we should really know how long our scenes are.
Right. So you're basically just going to do it on the clock.
You're going to have to basically plan it before you start. Okay. Right. So I'm going to jump over now to Animate. Okay. So here's my Animate project, Camp Cymru, with the dreadful logo animation that upset me so much last week.
Mine's cracking. I love it.
Yeah, this is great. I'm proud of you. Mine is terrible. Mine's terrible. Right. So now, really, what you want to do is, this should be part of your storyboards anyway, is you should kind of have your audio planned out, okay? So here's the audio that I did in Rush. So I'm just going to switch that off. Using the hide button basically works like mute,
Yeah.
I could delete it, but I'm emotionally attached to it, so I'm not going to. Okay, so that's all you really need to do is know, okay, what's my total runtime? Okay, so I suppose I need to know that. So mine is bang on 20 seconds. Okay, so I'm just gonna kind of scribble this down now. So my total runtime is 20 seconds. Okay, and then scene 1, I've got it is exactly 5 seconds. Okay.
Yeah.
So scene 1, 5 seconds. And then scene 2 is takes me up to 10 seconds. So scene 2 takes me up to 10 seconds. It's 5 seconds long. Yeah, it's.
Yeah.
I think that's a better way of doing it.
But there's no stipulations on, you know, it just says it needs what's in the mark scheme, because you could just keep
It needs
really
audio and it needs to have original audio. That's all it says, really.
It needs music and a bit of a voice.
It doesn't need it. It doesn't say anything about music, but I think, you know, in terms of being a bit professional, it probably does need it.
Okay.
Okay, so and then I've got that going up to 15. So scene 3 is up to 15. Okay, now if you remember, my scene 3 and 4 are a shambles because we didn't bother doing them because everybody got the gist. And then my scene 4 takes me up to, so basically it's 4 scenes, 5 seconds each.
Right.
Okay, and then you're gonna need, you know, in your timeline anyway, in your storyboards anyway, you should also have kind of sketched out, okay, what you want in each one of these scenes in terms of what you want to hear.
But again, going back to the mark scheme, what does it actually say? I mean, if you
nothing, just says you need audio and it needs original sound. So it could just be music and a voiceover. You don't need sound effects.
Okay.
So yeah, anyway, so if you want any sound effects, I suppose you'd write down, you know, so I've got kind of it's daytime and somebody's walking. Okay, and then my scene 2 is night, fire. Okay, scene 3, mountain, windy. And then my scene 4 is kind of like my scene 2. So as scene 2. Okay. And obviously if you got any voiceovers planned, this would all be in your storyboard already anyway. Okay. So, you know, you could have welcome to Camp Cymru in there. And then something about, you know, campfire, blah, blah, blah. So you could just plan out what you want your audio to be.
Yeah.
And then, yeah, fine. Okay. And as I say, this should be done anyway as part of your storyboards. So as long as your finished animation matches up with your second draft storyboard, your kids aren't going to actually need to do this because they've already done it.
Right.
You know?
Yeah.
So, yeah. Now, what we're going to do now is in Audition, we're just going to build this up and export it as an audio file and just bring it straight in to Animate and dump it down.
Okay.
Yeah? Sounds like a plan?
Sounds like a plan.
You could do it piecemeal, but if anybody's looked at the actual exemplar, so the example project, and I'm sure everybody has, you'll see in the testing document when the exemplar student's testing, it talks in there, and it's got a screenshot of the student fading the audio out in Animate. Now, that actually proves that our student has done the animation incorrectly using an ActionScript canvas rather than an HTML5 canvas, because you can't do that in HTML5.
Right.
That's the pain, really. If you're using Adobe Animate with ActionScript, which we're not allowed to, you've got some basic editing tools you can use. You can do, you know, a simple volume, fade out. You can cut something if it's too long. So if we were using ActionScript, we could just download a music track from Ben Sound, whack it into Animate, and then decide when we want it to chop off and fade out.
Right.
But in HTML5 canvas, you can't do any of that. So all the audio has to be as it is before you bring it into Animate. That's the pain.
Okay.
Yeah. All right?
Yeah.
So I've just realized something. Was
You weren't
were they on this when I was writing all that out?
There you go.
Was I on this? No.
That's the bit we've all been waiting for. And now you're on, and I was like, oh, that's interesting. And I wasn't sure if it was a choice.
You could have said.
Well,
you could have said.
I wasn't sure if you were writing it on paper or not.
No, you knew I was writing there, Dom. You knew I was right. I had my head down. You knew what I was doing. You just let me. You just let me do that.
I dropped the ball there, I think. But anyway, I wasn't sure, and I didn't want to say. Oh, this is boring, because that's rude.
You just allowed me to not show all of that, right?
There you go. We got it now. Then it's all right. I can edit it out. I can edit it out. It's fine.
Right. Okay, well, so imagine that you saw me. Imagine that you saw me writing that out, guys. Okay, sorry about that.
That would have been epic. Well, this is where we're at now. Then this is what you planned.
Right. So I got my basic.
Let's get Audition open.
I got my basic sketch of what I want to happen in the audio. Right. Goodness me. Right then. Here we go. So let's jump over to Audition. So here we go. Here's Adobe Audition. Isn't it a lovely, welcoming looking app?
Yeah, doesn't it just?
Not. Right. So when you land in Audition, it's not very obvious what you need to do. There isn't kind of a nice big start now button or anything like that, or get started. So you actually, top left here, okay, you got waveform and multi-track. So we're going to be making a multi-track project here. Okay, so I'm just going to click on multi-track. Here we go. So I'm going to call it Camp Cymru Audio. Okay, and then make sure that your kids save this into the correct folder. Okay, which is inside your root folder. You'll have an animation assets folder. Okay.
Oh yeah.
No. Sorry. Evidence animation files.
Right.
Okay.
Yeah.
So that's where we've saved our animate projects as well.
Anthony's got some feedback for you.
Oh, I'm feeling weak. Thought he was just talking to himself. Yeah. Well. Yeah. I'm sorry about that.
Sorry. You both, Anthony. There you go. He gave me the blame, didn't he? But that's fine.
You could have mentioned that you weren't seeing anything. That's all I'm saying.
Yeah, we right. This bit of magic. So
no, then. Here we go.
So you just went with all the presets, did you?
What?
You just went with all the presets on your multi-track.
Yeah.
Right. Look at that.
All right. So now it looks like something's going on, doesn't it? Okay.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Fine. So let's start off with music, because I have got something amazing to show you in the music. This is gonna blow everyone's mind.
Well, I tell you what, you're gonna need something. Let's go.
Right. No, I tell you, this is something else. Honestly, this is amazing. Right. So you're gonna need to download some music. Sorry. You're gonna need to download some music. Okay. So some free music. You could use Ben Sound. That's what they've used in the exemplar. Okay, they've used Ben Sound. So you can just go to free music, have a browse, and list and there. All right. I'm going to be using Mixkit later on for some sound effects. They also do music in here. It's not as, I don't think it's quite as good as the music in Ben Sound. Okay. But I've already, because I'm a pro, as everyone's seen today, I've already downloaded my track. Okay, so it is here. So I'm just gonna drag that file into the top left here. So this is where it says files. I'm just gonna drag it in here. Okay. So downloads, and I'm gonna drag my music track into basically my library. Okay, so files is your library.
New audio file. Oh. So what happens if you can't drag it? Import file.
Yeah, you got an import icon there.
Yeah.
All right.
I thought it was the add file, a new file, but it's not. It's import, isn't it? Right, okay.
Oh, yeah. Okay, so I've got now my music there. Okay. Yeah. Now I'm gonna keep my music kind of on the bottom. So I'm gonna. It gives you a bunch of files. You can a bunch of tracks, yeah.
Yeah.
And then you got the mix track at the bottom.
Mm-hmm.
You need the mix tracks. That's kind of your main output. But I'm not going to need 6 tracks.
Right.
So I'm gonna be deleting some of these. Okay, so I can see better. So track 6. I'm just going to go to multi-track, tracks, and delete selected track. Okay. The same for track 5.
Yeah.
You can't right click and delete, unfortunately.
And you can't even just press delete. That's a bit weird.
No, there is a keyboard shortcut which is too long to remember.
What is that?
It's there. Look, it's command. Yeah. So on a PC, it'll be Control Alt Delete, Control Alt Backspace, not delete. Or you'll sign out to your computer. Control Alt. Yeah. So Command Option Backspace on a Mac. Okay. So I'm just going to do it the safe way. There we go.
Okay.
Okie dokie. Now I've got my 3 tracks. Okay. Yeah. And I'm going to double click on track 1. And I'm going to just rename it voiceover. Okay. And then track 3, music.
What's wrong with track 2?
And track 2, SFX, sound effects.
Okay.
And I may add more sound effects tracks if I want to later on. Okay. So here are our tracks. Okay. So let's get the music onto the music track because that makes sense.
Drag and drop.
Okay. So I'm going to go to the files on the left-hand side. Dragio, dropio.
Is that really?
No. No.
I was going to say.
Hisco gochion.
Hisco gochion.
Yeah. Hisco is to drag.
Hisco.
Yeah, and gochion.
Gochion
is to drop. Yeah.
The sample rate of the inserted file does not match the sample rate of the session.
Yeah.
Press OK.
Yeah. Okay. If there's a let me get on with my life button, use that.
Right. Okay.
Okay. Yeah. Right. Now then, you're gonna absolutely love this, right? So at the moment, this track is. Let me just scroll all the way to the end. It is. So if I go right to the end there, it is 1 minute 58 seconds, which is too long, my friend. Yeah. Okay. Watch this. Right. On the right-hand side, if you're in the default, have you got the default layout? I'm guessing you have. Yeah. On the right-hand side, you should have your essential sound now showing up. Yeah. If you've clicked on your music track. Yeah. And we're going to tag this as music.
Yeah. Obviously.
Okay. Now then.
You need to do that so it gives you the right.
Dom, this honestly, you're gonna lose it with this. This is immense. Okay. You see where it says duration?
Yeah.
Tick that box.
Yeah.
And then we're gonna click on method is remix, and it's gonna analyze your music. Okay.
Are you meant to be showing your iPad right now or not?
No, I'm not. No.
Right, just checking. Yeah. Yeah. So it's analyzed my music.
Right.
Yeah.
So what it's done is it's just basically had to listen to your music. And now, okay, if I tell it that I want it to be exactly 20 seconds, which is
here we go.
That's right. That just happened. It says here target. I can type in here 20 seconds, press enter, and it has just automatically edited that whole song to be 20 seconds long. And if you play it, it's going to play back perfectly. You're playing yours at the same time now, you? So you see these lines? There's a cut in here that we won't be able to hear. Wowzers.
That is amazing.
So it's basically, it uses AI to work out the best way to cut your music down to whatever length you put here. So I put 20 in, and obviously it's worked out that the only way to get it neatly is to do 22. Yeah.
Oh, okay. It's actually mine's gone the other way. It's gone down to 18.
Yeah, exactly. So it'll kind of, because obviously, you know, it has to work within the kind of tempo and beats of the music. So
yeah. But it actually fades it out as well, doesn't it?
yeah. So
That's bananas.
Is that amazing or what?
I mean, for an absolutely devilishly ugly program, that's incredible.
Yeah, I think that is amazing. Right. Okay. Now then.
Just the end of it is class.
Yeah.
That's so good.
It's brilliant. Yeah. Okay, so let's get a voiceover in. Yeah, because that basically ticks off our original audio on the Mac scheme.
Yeah.
Okay. So to do that, I'm going to come up to my voiceover track. Here it is.
Yeah.
Now then, I need to tell it where I'm recording from. So what device, you know, I basically need to point it at the microphone. So this first one here says default stereo input. So that's kind of the built-in microphone on my computer.
Yeah.
So you know, if you're doing this in class, I'd strongly suggest you know, some reasonable-ish USB microphones.
Yeah.
Like we spoke about this before, and I grabbed one out of the cupboard. I think. Yeah.
Yeah.
So I've got this one plugged in.
Oh, hello.
Hi.
Hello.
Hello. How are you?
Oh, Christ.
What?
That sounded like those long distance calls I used to make.
So here's my microphone. It's plugged in via USB.
What's that ASMR thing that people do now? What is it?
Yeah. That's it. I could just put it right next to my iPad while I'm writing on it without you seeing the screen, and then you can just hear my pen clicking on the iPad. Anyway, come on. So here it'll say now. Okay. It's already finding it. Okay, so that's the name of my of this mic. So it's an M Audio Uber mic. If it isn't there, you need to go into the audio hardware. It's pretty straightforward. And then in audio hardware here, you know, it was on the default built-in mic, and I just switched it over to that.
Right.
Okay. I needed to do that earlier because it wasn't there. But now it's automatically there because I've come back to it. Okay. Yeah. So your kids will need to be able to do that. Just, and that's straightforward. Yeah. Okay. So then we need to enable recording on this track. So the R button there is to kind of arm the track, arm it for recording. So I click that. It's red. I can see the audio levels there, and you can see that they are peaking. It's too loud.
Yeah.
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 So on my mic, so you need to adjust the sensitivity on the microphone itself. And yeah, so I'm just gonna.
Not everyone will have that adjustment on the mic, though, will they? So they just need to step away.
Yeah, I mean, I'd strongly suggest, you know, it's worth getting some microphones with some controls on it. You know, I've got 5 of these microphones.
Right. I mean, they're not cheap, are they?
They're about 80 quid each, something like that. But you know, we use them in Key Stage 3 as well. So I thought, and I never asked for anything really. So and they've been a good buy. But you can get cheaper USB microphones. So you know, you could go cheaper. But these are, you know, look at it. It's bomb proof. You know, it is. Yeah. And they're not all on this kind of. I've just got this on an arm here, because you know, I'm the teacher and I get to look cooler. So do you want me to show them the microphone or not?
No.
Nope.
You just want to be Dr. Dre. That's all you want to be. That's all you've ever wanted to be, Dr. Dre.
That's it. Yeah. Dr. Jones. Now then. Okay. So, dear me. So we've got that set up, and I'm not peaking anymore. Okay. So it's not giving me those red bars right at the top. Okay. So, so I'm ready to record. So I can put the playhead roughly where I want it to start recording. I'll mute the music so that I don't hear that over the microphone. Okay. And then I've got the tiny little record button down the bottom here.
Yeah.
Okay. So I'm going to hit record.
Okay.
Shh, be quiet. I'm recording. Welcome to Camp Cymru. Relax by the fire. How about climbing some of our windy mountains? All right.
So there we go. So I've got some clips there. So I'm gonna just chop it up now so that I keep the bits I want. Okay. So,
sorry, that was just me. I actually recorded you doing that on the background.
Oh, that's great. Thanks for that. I'm sure.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
So to do that, I'm going to zoom in now on this little section. So to do that, it's the same. If you remember in Rush, we used plus and minus keys on our keyboard next to the zero across the number strip at the top. So just going to zoom in on the timeline here. Okay, and then I'm just going to be quiet and record it. Welcome to camp. Okay, so I wanna crop that. So I'm just gonna trim it back to there. Okay, so I'm just using the bottom left-hand corner to trim it. But we've also got a blade tool up the top here. Okay, razor blade tool up there, which I'm gonna need to use here. So I'm just gonna stop there.
What is that? Is that actually to just get the
Well,
you don't want to move the track, do you? You want to.
Well, these gaps aren't necessarily the right length. You know what I mean?
Right. So
maybe
if you were going to do it, wouldn't you just do it on the clock and just be like, right, do your first one after 1 second?
Yeah. You do them as 3 separate recordings. Yeah, maybe. Yeah. Okay, before I start chopping this up, I'm actually gonna tag it as dialogue. Okay. So that I don't have to do that for every time I've done it. There we are. So tag that up as dialogue. Okay. And then you've got some options in here. You've got some presets. Okay. So, if you recorded it in class, you might want to clean up noisy dialogue. So, I'll go for podcast voice, perhaps. Okay, have a listen to it. Welcome to Camp Cymru. There we are, fine. Okay, so got all that sorted. I'll zoom back out a bit. And I'll start now just dragging it into place roughly where I want it. So I'll unmute the music. Okay. Welcome to Camp Cymru. Relax by the... Yeah, okay. I mean, I think they're fine, to be honest, where they are. Okay. But I'll just show how to chop it up just in case people want to. So I'll just go to the blade tool, the razor blade tool here. Okay. And then I can just blade. There we go. Okay. I'll pop back over to the selection tool and then I'll just delete these guys out the way with empty space.
So actually, there's not many. There aren't many tools on this, are there?
No, it's quite nice, isn't it? Yeah. Now, if you want as well, you can grab the top. Oh no, I can't. Okay. No, I can't. Oh yeah, there we are. Yeah, when I've got a clip selected.
Yeah.
If you are in a noisy room and you can bring a little bit of a fade in as well.
Right.
Fade out, fade in, and a fade out.
Okay.
Just by dragging those boxes across.
Welcome to Camp Cymru. Relax by the fire.
All right, fine. Okay. So now let's get the music to duck under this. Do you remember we did that in Rush?
Yeah.
So we can do exactly the same in Audition. So I'm just going to select my music here now. Okay, click on it.
Okay, I did see. Yeah, they're ducking. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. And then over in our side panel here, I'm going to switch the ducking on. Duck against the dialogue, and there you can see now it's ducking underneath each portion of my dialogue. If you want to duck more, as in turn the volume down further, you can turn the duck amount up, and you can see that the scoop is kind of deeper.
Yeah.
Okay. So let's have a listen now.
Welcome to Camp Cymru. Relax by the fire.
So I think that duck's a bit extreme, to be honest. I don't think the music needs to drop that far.
Welcome to Camp Cymru.
Even that's probably a bit extreme, maybe.
Yeah, it is, because the music isn't bonkers, is it?
18 is the default, I think.
I think if I had like a frenetic techno track going on, then then maybe you'd feel the need to duck further. But I don't think I need to really.
While driving along those Welsh country roads in your Ford Focus.
That's right. Yes, near a Fiesta Mark II, the cherry bomb exhaust.
your Cosworth.
Yeah. Right. Okay. So let's have a look what's going on now then. So I've just switched the record enable off on that just in case I accidentally record over something.
Yeah. So
that could be a lot for that could be a lot if you wanted it to be.
Yeah.
For audio. Okay. So
stick sound effects in.
What you want to be keeping an eye on is your general level. So this bar right at the bottom is your levels, and you want it to be.
Welcome to
There we are.
Cymru.
Just touching into the yellow is good. Okay.
Relax by the fire.
But it pushes the yellow when it goes further, or you just don't want it to peak on red. Right.
Climbing some of our windy mountains.
Yes. Mine was touching a bit of red there. All right, at one point, kind of around here. Yeah. So then you could just bring down your overall level of the whole thing, rather than bring down the voiceover and the music separately. I could just bring my whole thing down a little bit. Okay.
Yeah.
Drag that to the left, and now.
How about climbing some of our windy mountains?
Mountains.
Yeah. All right. So, and then obviously, if you feel that the voiceover is way too quiet, you could just bring up the level of the general level of this whole track here.
Right.
Your music, usually from those kind of websites, your music is going to be at a kind of consistent level, so you usually won't need to mess around too much with the volume of the music. They're usually mastered quite correctly,
Right. Yeah.
Okay. So, sound effects. So for sound effects, you could obviously use more than one track because then you can kind of have them fading in and out of each other. So I probably would do that. Okay. So for sound effects,
I suppose this is kind of where the balance between Rush or this starts to even out a bit, doesn't it? Because you do have the music and you do have the sound effects in Rush.
Yeah. That sound effects library, the sound library in Rush is, just makes that process much easier. Yeah, it does. So, but there we are. My kids used a bit of this Mixkit, and they enjoyed looking for sound effects.
Yeah, well, actually, there's something about this which actually is quite good fun, I suppose. Just looking at.
So I'm just going to look for campfire here now. Okay. So these top ones. Oh, let me try again. Camp with a space this time. Campfire. Here we go. So the green ones, if you're using Mixkit, are not free. Okay. Yeah. Those are basically kind of ads. So scroll down. All these grey ones are free. All right. So if I go for campfire night wind, maybe.
Campfire burning crackles.
Yeah. I'll go for campfire crackles, maybe.
Can't even hear anything on that. That's so small, that one.
It's there. So I'll download this one, Campfire Crackles. Okay, there we are. It's downloaded it. Back I go to Audition, and I'm just going to drag that into the files. Top left.
Yeah.
Okay, so there it is. And then
mine's a WAV, so it doesn't matter. It can deal with WAV.
Yeah, that's fine. Mine's a WAV too. Yeah. So there we are. That's in. Somebody's drilling outside. Sorry about that. Okay. So, my campfire starts on 10 seconds. Yeah.
Oh, this is a really interesting graphic. This is great. This is good.
Yeah.
I like that. When did you do that?
I did it earlier when I was speaking about it.
Right. Got you.
And I didn't want to show you because I wanted to keep it as a surprise. Right. So here we go. I'm just gonna crop this now to start on 10 seconds.
Right.
Okay? And it ends on 15 seconds. So 15 is there. Okay. But I'm gonna go a little bit either side so that I can fade it in and out. Like that. Okay.
Relax by the fire. How about climbing some?
So that's very subtle at the moment. Okay. So I'm just gonna crank that. I'm gonna
Some of our windy mountains.
I'm gonna crank that up a bit.
How did you get the how do you get the fade in and fade out, the little rugby posts?
Yeah, so if you click on it,
Yeah.
it's the little grey box either side, and drag it in.
I mean, I
And if
like this. I think it's easy. I just think the UI on it is.
Yeah. Once you're actually in there and using it, it's really cool. And then what else is really
cool? I think the UI on it is like bizarre.
Yeah. What else is cool about the fade out? Watch this now, okay? If I drag it across, but if I drag it, so I've still got my mouse button clicked down at the moment. But if I now drag up, you see what happens?
Right. Nice.
So what that means is that is going to drop. It's going to drop the audio level quickly to be quite quiet, and then fade out quite gradually.
Yeah.
You know, which is quite nice. Or I can have it do that where it kind of where the fade out is going to be more extreme, or you can just go totally linear and have it straight like that. So that's nice as well, because you'll often find that maybe you want to fade out music at the end of something to fade out something like that.
Yeah.
Because sometimes it still feels, even when you put a fade out on the end of something, it feels like it crashes to a halt.
Right.
So if you do a kind of a low scoop like that, then the listener can really hear the fade out is happening.
Right. Okay.
All right.
Yeah.
Now, obviously, this is something. I may as well, because my animation is 20 seconds, and we want this to be quite correct. So even though I've used the retime on this, I can still crop. Yeah. And
sorry, I'm just catching up on a comment. The dulcet tones of Meredith Jones, only on YouTube.
Quite.
I mean, lucky YouTube. That's all I'm saying.
I feel like I'm catching a lot of flack from people today.
You're right in the line of fire. You got to expect.
I feel a bit. Yeah, I do feel a bit targeted.
Hey, listen, Michael Jordan. He might have won a lot of medals. He might have won a lot of trophies, but he missed more shots.
That's true. That's
it.
Hello.
You're the Michael Jordan of DigiTech GCSE.
You're in to do the blinds. Yeah, great. Yeah, you carry on. Yeah, carry on. Oh, I have some guys coming in to fix my blinds.
Oh, bro. Have they got power tools?
I think they do have power tools. Yeah, I think so. But we haven't got long left anyway. So there we are.
No, I mean, this has been a good one, actually. I mean,
as opposed to the rest, or
no, as in, I just mean as in, like, it's quite simple, isn't it? And you can see how you could do it really easily. And I suppose now, can we work on just like the export and then get it into
so the reason I'd use so I won't add more sound effects now because you get it, but I would personally now, because I've got that sound effect there fading in and fading out. You'd want maybe the next scene sound effect to be fading in and out, overlapping with that. Do you know what I mean? So it'll sound a bit more seamless. So that's why I'd probably then add, if I go to multi-track tracks, add mono track, I'd have maybe SFX2 here.
Right, got you. Yeah, okay. I mean, I must say it's good for you. Like you're much more of a perfectionist than I ever first anticipated, actually.
But trying to say I'm a cowboy or something?
As in, I wonder. I don't think that would get anything on the mark scheme, and that's not me saying, "Oh, it doesn't mean you should do it." I don't mean that.
Well,
this is really good teaching, because you shouldn't be teaching just in order to tick boxes on a mark scheme. You should be doing it in order to teach someone to fall in love with what they're doing.
Yeah, you're right. And again, it's that I've always found, and we've mentioned this a few times, the stuff that I've put in the makes it look professional bracket is actually all the stuff that the kids enjoy doing most.
Yeah.
The stuff that you feel, we really need to do it. And I think, well, we'll do it because it gets us into that top mark band. But this is the stuff they really enjoy doing. Looking at the sound effects and all that. Okay, let's get this out of Audition and into Animate then. Okay.
Yeah.
So obviously, So and there's no limit to sound effects tracks. If you want 4 or 5 sound effects tracks, then go nuts. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So you know, you don't need to say, oh, I need to stick to SFX and SFX2 because my editor says so. You know, that's not the case.
Yeah.
Okay. Right. So let's get this out and into Animate. And this now is where we really save compared to this fiasco. This fiasco, isn't it? You know? So this is where we really gain.
I think they're very similar.
Yeah. I mean,
they're very similar.
I think you've forgotten what we all the steps again in Outer Rush into media encoder strip. Yeah. Anyway,
I think because I'm so comfortable with Rush, not that that's a great feat of skill, but like,
yeah,
I'm just like, wow, I could make that in Rush in like 10 minutes.
And they've already used Rush.
I bothered with his media encoder.
Yeah, you're right. Yeah, it's not a big deal, is it? You know, no. But then this has been fun as well. So
yeah.
Okay, so let's get this out and into Animate. So to do that, really simple. We do need to tell Audition how much of this we want to export. Okay, because you know it's got a lot of empty space after here. Yeah.
Right.
So to do that, we use this little guy on the top. Okay.
Okay.
So you can see it's kind of like a mini scrolling timeline, isn't it? Yeah.
Yeah.
So if you click on this little magnifying glass here, it basically resize. So it'll resize that mini scrolling timeline.
Yeah.
I don't know what the proper name is for it, but I think mini scrolling timeline sounds good. So it's kind of resized it to the stuff you got on your timeline, and you can even, and I'm gonna just drag that in a little further again to there.
Yeah.
Okay. I'm not gonna crop the end off. I don't want that to happen, or it'll sound weird. I just want to see a tiny bit of space after my last track. Okay, good. And now I'm going to export it. So I'm going to go to my file menu and then export multi-track mix down.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, and it should say, oh yeah, there we are. Entire session. Yeah, sorry. Yeah, an entire session. Okay. Now in here, the automatic will be a WAV file. Okay.
Well, actually, mine's not. Mine's an MP3.
Oh, good. Oh, yeah. Well, I'm gonna use an MP3 anyway. Okay. Right. So then, Camp Cymru audio mix down. That sounds fine to me. I'm gonna make sure. I'm gonna click browse. I'm gonna make sure this goes into the same folder.
Gotcha.
So that's into your root, and then evidence animation files.
Right.
So there we are. Great. And then I'm gonna click OK. And it is done.
Yeah.
Super snappy. Okay.
What was the your original music track? Was that a WAV or an MP3?
It was a WAV.
Then maybe
no, it's an MP3. Sorry, it's an MP3.
Ah, right. So I don't know why they chose different.
I didn't get this from Ben Sound. I got this from
Maybe that's why yours exported as a WAV and mine in an MP3.
Oh, yeah, perhaps. Yeah, perhaps.
And mine was an MP3 background.
Yeah, maybe. But I'd export it as an MP3, whatever we do.
Right. Okay.
Okay. Because my voiceover is recorded as a WAV. Look.
Right. Yeah. But everything else on mine is a WAV as well.
And that mix kit sound effect is a WAV as well.
Yeah.
All right. So, yeah. Okay. Brill. Diolch yn fawr. Good. O, chi'n y benni? Oh, gwych. Great. Oh, diolch yn fawr. Brilliant. Oh, my days of being dazzled are over. Awesome. Right. Wow. That's amazing. Right. So, so that's exported. Sorry, I forgot what I was doing there. So let's jump over to Animate. Okay. Here we go. So, if you remember, so that's the audio that I've just muted. That was the old audio I did in Rush.
Yeah.
Okay. So I'm just going to add another layer, another layer in my Animate timeline. I'll call this Audition audio, so we know what's going on down in my timeline.
Yeah. Where it is?
No, not at all. But I always put audio on the bottom because I don't know, just anything else seems totally wrong.
Yeah.
Okay. So next, I'm just going to open up my file browser. Okay. I'm gonna go to into my root folder.
Well, you can just drag it onto the timeline.
No, you drag it into your library first on the right-hand side. I think you might be able to drag it on the timeline actually, but well, I'm going to put it in the library first.
No,
So
you're right.
here we go. Yeah, it is there. Okay, that's my mixed down MP3. Just check it makes a noise.
Welcome to Camp Cymru.
Hear the fire crackling.
Relax by the fire.
There it is.
Yeah.
How about climbing some of our windy mountains?
And it's exactly 20 seconds there, okay?
Yeah.
Okay, so I'm going to drag that over into my library. Okay.
No, right. Okay. You try that one. Has it
There
gone
it
in?
is there. Okay, there it is there. Camp Cymru audio mixed down.
Okay.
And now we drag it. This is what's counterintuitive, if you remember with Animate. We don't drag it. You feel like you want to drag it down here. You actually drop it onto your stage.
Right. Okay.
So I'm just going to drag that now and drop it onto my stage. And you can see it's added the wave. I can see the waveform in there. Okay.
Yeah.
So if I now play my animation.
Welcome to Camp Cymru. Relax by the fire. How about climbing?
Okay, cool. Yeah.
Yeah.
Now, you do need to make sure in Animate that your audio, if you go to properties, that this needs to be a stream, not an event.
Okay.
Okay. The default setting usually when you drag that in is an event. Okay, not a stream.
Yeah.
Do you remember we spoke about this before?
Yeah.
So if I'll test my movie now, okay?
Right. Okay. Because when you want to stop things, it needs to stop.
So when I stop, my audio's carrying on.
Right.
Oh, wowzers. Okay, so so if you want your audio to move and stop along with your navigation buttons, that needs to be stream, not event. Okay,
Right.
that's all it is. So I'll just go to properties. Here it is, and make sure that's on stream.
Right.
All right,
Cool.
that's it.
Yeah. I mean, I'm not sure whether. Yeah. I think it's good to know both.
Yeah, yeah.
I think actually a lot of you'd probably find that quite a few teenagers would probably dig the audition quite a lot because they'd feel like, oh, like I'm mixing a track here.
Yeah. You know, you could still do it piecemeal. You could do that. You could just bring in multiple audio tracks and dump them wherever you want on keyframes in Animate.
Right.
But you're still going to have to cut your music down to time somehow.
Right.
And if you're using sound effects, like that fire sound effect, it was 24 seconds. Well, I'd need to cut that down to, however long that fire scene is.
Right.
So there's no getting around the fact that you're going to have to prepare your audio before bringing it into Animate.
Yeah.
So the question then is, do you prepare it all together like this?
Yeah.
And export one audio file? Or do you prepare them all separately and bring them all in separately? Personally, it makes more sense to me to prepare it all together.
Yeah. It's the same skill, isn't it?
Yeah. And, if you don't find it a faff, I really like the idea. Ooh, sounds like
you're
I'm
getting emotional there, aren't you?
Sounds like well, boof. I really like the idea of when we were in Rush because you could see what was going on, so you were adding the sound effects in exactly the right place.
Yeah, I do think there is an advantage to that for sure.
Yeah, no, you could do that. You could export your animation as an MP4, and you can bring, you can see this here, edit audio to video.
Yeah.
So you could have your video, your MP4 video playing here whilst you're doing this. And then you would be able to just export as, you know, an MP3.
Yeah. And
So
keep it simple. Yeah, I think that's right.
You know,
Why
that
didn't
is
you do that now. Why didn't you do the edit videos audio or audio to video? Sorry.
because you still then need to be exporting your animation as a kind of draft as an MP4 and then importing that into Audition. And it doesn't seem like that much of a simpler version than what we've already looked
Yeah.
at.
It's not complicated enough maybe to make that worthwhile.
Yeah.
Sure.
I think, you know, this actually reinforces why they should be doing their storyboards, doesn't it? You know?
Yeah.
And you could even have them plan something like this out, sketch something like this out. I've seen good examples of people using a spreadsheet, so using Excel.
Yeah.
And then that every cell is a second, you know, moving horizontally, and then that they could just sketch out. And do you know what? That'd be really cool. That would be a really cool thing to put into your log,
Right.
as well.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So that their audio is thought about rather than just, you know, rushed at the end and dumped on.
Yeah, for sure.
And then they can think about, okay, their sound effects and what sound effects they want. So then when they're in Mixkit, then they're actually searching for something with purpose.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
Well, that was a nice, neat session. Well done.
Thank you. Diolch I ti.
And
coming back now. Oh, yeah, good.
Bang
Oh, that's been there this whole time. Look at that. Right.
Yeah. No, only just in the second session, second bit actually. It's fine.
Okay. Right on.
Cool. Right. Well, thank you very much. What's next week?
No, next week is Eisteddfod yr Urdd, so we won't have a session next week.
Gotcha.
I'll be on the mice. Yeah, so if anybody's up in the Eisteddfod next week, I think I'm there every day. So yeah, I'll see you up there.
Right. And then maybe after we get back, it's Dreamweaver again.
I think maybe we need to canvass the members and see what they think again, really, because
okay,
we've got some stuff.
Definitely getting quite a few Dreamweaver requests.
Have we? Yeah, we look at those then. Do you know what people want to look at in Dreamweaver specifically?
I will send it on to you, but there was also some stuff in the WJEC Facebook group as well. People go mad about it.
Oh, okay.
But maybe we need to talk to Mohan, the big guy, before we actually tackle that one. Anyway, that's all details.
And we have had some requests about you know, like nice little details in Animate, so blinking eyes and lip syncing voiceovers to your character's mouth. Well, that is going to be an awesome one. Yeah, I'm excited about that.
Yeah, for sure. Right. Well, thank you very much as always, and I'll send out all the links to everybody and give us your feedback, and we'll see you in probably 2 weeks. Is that right?
Yeah.
All right.
Perfect.
All right. Prynawn da, noswaith da, whichever one you want, I guess.
Diolch yn fawr.
Ciao.